Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our commodity technical analysis update, our daily update. I'm going to give you my financial opinion. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and then the commodities and ETFs that I follow. If you guys need any help with this commodity bull market that's coming up, definitely take a look at finding-value.com. Check out the platinum membership. Use the word discount in the coupon code. That can get you a discount. And we talk about a whole bunch of different commodities, different sectors, and even real estate cycles and all these different cycles that helps you with investing. So let's dive in here, give you my opinion here. We've got the DXY. The DXY, again, it's just drifting lower. And right now I'm kind of just sitting here not really doing much of anything. We've got a large move higher. We've got a topping pattern, which is the Batman pattern, and we've been drifting lower. I do think that will continue. More or less, the DXY goes lower with monetary tightening over in Europe and Japan or whatever the heck they're going to do. And us, I think we're going to slow down our monetary tightening. So basically, it's just a measurement of who's tightening when. The 10-year yield, it is heading lower today. We've been just drifting sideways here. We're down 1.6%. And we still have some good, strong selling pressure candlesticks in here. Not too much buying. So I do think that this will eventually work its way lower in the short term. And what we have is we've got liquidity coming from the markets back, we'll say stimulus money, that is starting to dry up. And this is going to pair off, the yield is going to pair that off against commodity supply shortages. And that's where the battle is going to reside. But in the short term, we're getting a little bit of selling pressure where we could pull back a little bit in the short term before we start to rip higher at some point in the future. So I think that we are relaxing in the short term. It is providing a little bit of a tailwind for some of the markets. And then I think later on, we'll see what happens when the consumer price index starts to rally with the commodity shortages that I think are in the system. TLT, which is bond prices, they were up today. So it's looking good in the short term for bond prices. This is the 20-year TLT bond price. And then 30-year yield, obviously heading lower today, just like the 10-year yield. And I think we still could see a little bit more of a pullback in yields. The TYX to TNX ratio, it's just basically moving sideways. Here's kind of your sideways channel, perhaps, and we're just moving sideways. The CRB index down a little bit today. We've got a little bit more selling pressure there. We've broken out of this pattern to the upside, and I think that it will eventually work its way higher. It's going to grind its way on up since we've broken out of this pattern to the upside. CRB to S&P 500 was up today. It's just grinding sideways just below the support little line that I drew in there. We've got gold that's heading a little bit higher, weaker yield, weaker DXY, and gold's heading up a little bit higher. This still looks absolutely phenomenal in terms of the way that this looks all through here. There's not much selling pressure, mainly just a bunch of big green candlesticks. The green army has come, but we are getting up there. This is where you want to start to see, are we going to put in some sort of pattern where we reverse and maybe get stuck here a little bit? We'll find out. But there is some buying, selling pressure here, and that's kind of that section that we're entering. Silver, still looking all right. We're in that pattern still. Everything looks okay. We're still hanging on. And then platinum's up 11 bucks. That's starting to use this support level, starting to bounce higher. And I do think that platinum will move on higher. And when we break this kind of, I don't know, I drew it there. You can draw it in a couple of different places. I can hug this line up and say it already broke out. Because the wicks aren't closing prices on a monthly candlestick. You could say it's already broken out, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to the upside. We've broken the big pattern to the upside. We've done a retest, and I think that we'll head on higher here at any point, whenever it is. XAU to gold ratio. These are the gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold itself. A little bit of an outperformance today. Again, I think this looks excellent to try to run and break I call it the line for happiness for gold and silver mining company investors. We got to break that downtrend. We break that downtrend, we will be partying, guys. We will be partying. GDX, again, we've got this resistance line kind of drew through here. We've hit it a couple times through history. We zoom in there. We are definitely above that line, and we're starting to move higher. So GDX looks really good. So the gold and silver miners, they've got momentum to the upside. Now they just got to outpace gold and put that XAU to gold ratio that we just looked at, break that downtrend line. And looking at SILJ up today, 0.88%, which it's still looking fantastic, guys. We're right above this support level, and everything's looking fine. Nice strong day today. Crude oil, get a little bit of a sell-off today. It's just grinding back and forth. This isn't it's not a reversal candlestick or anything big. So even if we pull back a little bit, that's fine. Doesn't matter. We're looking good. And there's kind of your increasing point where you just kind of plopped out. But the day, the size of this move today is the size of what this would have projected in this teeny little pattern. But it still looks fantastic for a monster move higher. Let's just play with numbers for the heck of it. Why not? If I do a trend-based fib extension, I'm going to use this as the bottom, use that as the top, come on back, and we look on up. We could easily see 250 oil, 362, 470, or even 547 for a third leg higher here. That's going to be highly inflationary, highly inflationary. And it does align, if you kind of think of a narrative, it aligns with what's going on in the world. Very tight markets, and natural gas being incredibly tight in Europe. I know that their weather is basically saving them, warm weather, but if cold weather were to come even next year, we could see some pretty big moves in crude oil and even natural gas. So right now, everything is kind of intact. It's holding together with warm weather, but we'll see what happens the rest of the winter and next winter. Natural gas down 5.46%. And we're starting to kind of go back and forth here. We're probably going to move sideways for a little while to base out and consolidate from a very large move coming on down. The weather is still warm, so we're going to have a lot of volatility here. And I think that prices could remain low for a little while as this weather kind of gets through. And we'll see, I think there's a cold spell coming in next week, which may impact the natural gas prices to some degree. XOP, yeah, you know me, a little bit lower today. We've still broken the downtrend, and we're just moving on up. So yeah, we're grinding on up higher and higher and higher. OIH also down a little bit. We're right on that support level that I drew in there. Crazy how I draw these lines in here, and they are like exactly where the support level is. And I don't draw them perfectly, but I draw them kind of, this is probably where it would be, somewhere in that range. But this looks fantastic. We've got 2 small down days, a little up day. This looks good to move higher with time. And if you look at a lot of the companies, they're basically, and you can't really see it here. Maybe let's go to the dailies here. You can see that these lows continue to just step up on up and up and up, and we're compressing against that resistance level. So we've got the lows coming up, and that's on a daily candlestick basis. And if we back on out, let's go to the monthlies here. We back out onto the monthlies. We're just compressing up against this resistance line. And once that resistance line kind of fails, we're gonna probably do a pretty good rocket shot here. Especially if oil gets moving, they're gonna want to drill for more oil. And right now, the energy service companies look incredibly good. Looking at the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, U.UN. We are just moving sideways, basically in a little flag pattern. So we're just, or in a channel, I should say. So we're moving sideways there. URNM, you know, it's looking better. Now, I drew this in here, and what I did, let me go to the weeklies here. I drew this in on the weeklies, I think. I just tapped these guys' tops here, and we're really close to a break. I mean, our momentum is slowing down. We're coming up into that resistance, and we'll see what happens here. But don't be surprised if we really launch one day, we come back, and then we rip it. So kind of like a true breakout, because I don't have this drawn perfectly. The resistance area is somewhere in this general vicinity. Sometimes, you know, if you contact this guy and this guy, yeah, it's there. You could also kind of contact the tips here. We're real close where we could see a big breakout, which could happen tomorrow or some other time. I'm not calling for tomorrow. I'm just saying it could happen very soon. We see a big breakout. We see the retest. So boom, we get a little bloody nose, or maybe it comes back a couple times, and then we go. So this thing is lining up. It looks really good. TAN down a little bit today. Again, I'm looking at the lows here. The lows are coming on up. You know, anytime now, and this is going to squeeze on out and pop. It's going to pop to the upside, and we're going to have a lot of fun riding the TAN bandwagon. So, yeah, I think oil is going to go. Oil is going to go up. Natural gas is going to go up. Uranium is going to go up. I think solar looks like it wants to go up too. Looking at COPX, copper remaining resilient, guys. This has been pretty crazy how strong this has been. Another big update today. I know it's not, doesn't look massive, but this is big because it finished strong at its closing, and it's a bullish engulfing. So it's still looking quite good for a continued move higher, and we are coming to some of this more resistance area through here. There's resistance through here. You can see, you know, trading all through this location. That's resistance, and we're kind of dealing with it quite well. We haven't really had a big pullback yet. Lithium moving on up, looking fantastic. Actually, quite surprising. We had a little false breakdown here, and it's rocketing. That could be a slingshot cheetah. It comes in, it's basically pulling back the slingshot, and here's our slingshot engaged and moving. REMX did the same thing, kind of a little bit of a slingshot, and it's been moving higher. We are coming up against resistance. So here's our resistance line. Draw it in there. We're coming up right on top of it. So that's what we need to break next. The S&P 500 getting the bloody nose today. So get ready, guys. Let's see what tomorrow has in store. We could be rocketing. It's not a call. I said we could be. The pattern is there for this to continue higher. Same with the NASDAQ. Small bloody nose. Higher. That is what the reading says. The sellers are not there. They're not showing up, smoking us to the downside. I think we could go higher. EEM also being resilient, continues to move higher. I like emerging markets quite good. I think they're a good spot to be looking. You could also say that this is a shoulder, head, shoulder bottoming pattern. So it looks really good. I like emerging markets. XHB also right on that resistance line. We've got a little bit. You can see the wicks coming out. I do think when the overall markets break higher, this will break up with it. And that's home builders. Home builders are, a lot of people are bearish housing market, but the home builders look fantastic. Moo also moving higher. Quite a strong candlestick. I'm not saying that it's a huge update. It's 0.38, but it reversed, went higher, and closed very strongly. So that looks really good. Copper is losing a little bit of momentum. We had a good move here. You can see the candlestick bodies are getting a little bit smaller and smaller. So we could see this reverse back a little bit, or however far it wants to pull back. But copper's looking really good. And we've got a nice kind of upward movement on copper. Lumber. Wait a minute, guys. Where are all your housing bears out? And lumber, we called it together here. Falling wedge, broken to the upside. Lumber and home builders are not painting a bearish picture for housing. Why is that? What is going on? We had now keep in mind, this is something I want to make, a comment on. 2020, we got all sorts of screwed up here. And lumber went, ridiculous. We got in a huge squeeze situation. What this is telling us is that the market was tight to begin with. We had a supply disruption, and this thing took off like a raped ape. So then we came on back, and we're consolidating back to that breakout, and we'll probably see a slow move higher with lumber, or maybe fast move. I don't know. It's going kind of fast today. But lumber's looking fantastic for more upside. We've got iron ore. I'm going to skip over that one. For some reason, these aren't updating. We've got nickel heading a little bit lower here. It's probably going to do an A, B, C correction, somewhere like that, and then we get to move. This will be your buy point, guys, right where I'm doing that circle. That's going to be like the buy point of a lifetime. Why do I say that? Well, we've already kind of moved higher here. Actually, buy point is right here on that breakout. But we came up, we did a double bottom, we're coming on up, and we could do another retest back to it. That is a possibility. And that could be another really good buying point somewhere in that range for nickel. And I think this is going to continue on up for a very long time. Aluminum, also huge buying opportunity down here. We played this with a company on the website. I talked about it quite a bit. And we've got some pretty good setups in aluminum right now. Baltic Dry Index down to 740. There's your falling wedge pattern. This, in my opinion, will break to the upside. We got a little bit of selling pressure here, kind of to, I'll say, scare everyone. They're going to try to reverse their positions. Not this guy. I'd be loading up if it were me, and I'd start laughing at some point. But that's Baltic Dry Index, and I'll laugh when this goes back up and all those companies do crazy stuff, because the companies and their chart patterns look fabulous. How do you like that? Fabulous. Newcastle Coal, we're getting a bounce today. That is good. And we're up 2.58%. We're right there. You can barely see it. And we're just bouncing in this gigantic consolidation period where we're going to break out to the upside and probably run in coal. There are some good investment opportunities all over the place in coal, energy service, energy. It's all over the place, guys. All over the place. Ethereum finally having a small little down day, but this still looks ultra bullish. This isn't a big down day. It still looks good to run higher. Same with Bitcoin. It still looks good. There's not much selling pressure. Everything looks fantastic from that perspective. So overall, guys, it looks really good. I can't say that anything looks that bad. Nothing. The whole overall market looks good in the short term. Emerging markets look good. Lithium, rare earths, uranium, precious metals, everything. Everything looks good to potentially go higher for some period of time. And right now, I'm just holding on to my shares and just riding this beast. Why not? If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. The Platinum membership, again, use the word discount in the coupon code. Come to our community, hang out. And we've got a Discord channel. We talk about a lot of stuff on the Discord channel in terms of potential investments. We also have the Platinum question and answer sessions at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday. So we have that coming up. And we talk about a lot of companies in those. So definitely something not to miss. I think we're at the beginning stages of this next leg higher. So that's something to watch. Everything looks fantastic. And hopefully you guys, it works out for everybody in the end. That's long commodities. And I wish the best for everybody and myself, just everybody. So hopefully we can really prosper from this commodity bull market together. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.